probation officials, which is a normal part of this procedure. What happened?
So today, Donald Trump, with his lawyer, Todd Blanche, over a Microsoft Teams connection, had this virtual meeting to prepare, to assist the probation department in New York City with preparing the pre-sentencing report that goes to the judge. It was an unusual meeting in that present there was the commissioner of the New York City Department of Probation, Juanita Holmes, her general counsel, Bridget Hamblin, and the probation officer, who would normally be there by himself or with another officer who would do the interview. The interview was led by Commissioner Holmes, and a city official who was briefed on the interview afterwards told me that at all times Donald Trump answered the questions, which were things about what are your living situation, any health issues, family history, where do you spend more time, New York or Florida, a lot of things that Donald Trump would think everybody already knows. But Commissioner Holmes said, these are the normal questions. We're going to put you through these questions. They said he was polite, he was respectful, and that at the end of the meeting, he wished them well and ended the call with be safe.
And we just got, speaking of New York City, Mayor Giuliani, former Mayor Giuliani's mugshot from Arizona authorities. He's been, he was hard to get
a subpoena.
To. They finally did. This is his mugshot. That's not the mugshot. We'll try to get it. He's pleaded not guilty there to charges of trying to overturn the 2020 election results. What happened to him? I mean,
well, this has been an amazing rise and fall from a kind of prosecutor built on the image of Thomas Dewey going after the mob and crooked politicians, to a mouthpiece for Donald Trump as president, and then the lead counsel.
Sorry, by the way, this is the mugshot. That was another mugshot of his, which clearly he's gotten a lesson from that prior mugshot, because this one he's smiling at least.
That's right. The prior mugshot was from the Georgia case. So now he's on his second mugshot, but he has hitched himself to the Donald Trump wagon, but he's also been through multiple breakups and divorces. He's lost millions and millions of dollars. He's in bankruptcy. His apartment is up for sale, and it was amazing to see someone who was the face and the voice of law and order in New York City for so long, and then the mayor for 2 terms, a law and order mayor, be someone who's going on his second mugshot, and who has been disbarred and barred from the practice of law in multiple places.
Andrew, in a series of interviews over the past week, the former president has been asked about this whole retribution seeking. He talked about running, I am your retribution, he had said months ago. I just want to play some of what he said.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that.
It does.
And sometimes revenge can be justified, but I have to be honest.
No.
Sometimes it can. Look, when this election is over, based on what they've done, I would have every right to go after them. And it's easy because it's Joe Biden.
It's a very terrible thing. It's a terrible precedent for our country. Does that mean the next president does it to them? That's really the question.
So in terms of if he is president, using the levers of the Justice Department, the FBI to go after political opponents in a second term, how would he go about that? I mean, how feasible is that?
Well, I think it's entirely feasible. I mean, it's interesting to me that across those interviews with people who are like Dr. Phil and others who are trying to kind of get him to walk away from those claims, he soft pedals it a little bit, but then he gets out in front of the rally crowds and really hits it home. It is absolutely clear. He said it many times in front of many different people. He intends to take the levers of power if he is reelected and use them for his own personal retribution goals, which in and of itself is so unbelievably offensive. It should be to any American that any American president would purport to do such a thing. Can he do it? Sure, he can do it. If he follows through with the plan that he's already laid out, this 2025 plan that they've talked about, he'll replace those folks in significant positions, the Department of Justice and the FBI and other federal law enforcement entities, with flunkies those who will do whatever he says. So the first steps in this process of trumping up charges against people baselessly and throwing them in jail could actually happen. I think it gets tougher when those cases start to make their way through the courts, but that takes a long time. And so I think it's reasonable that people who think they might be, on the former president's enemies list start thinking about what does that look like? What could that, how could that actually play out in your life? And I think people are having those conversations, just trying to figure those things out as we speak.
Andrew McCabe, Adam Kinzinger, Sean Miller, thank you. Coming